examples of that. So this is a systemic issue. It's not just an individual issue. It's like this really affects academia and healthcare and everything.
Great answers. I appreciate the insight, because it's been a while since I've read the book, so I mean, I'm just, kind of remembering some of these things as we go.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of fat phobia, and like I still have it, If I see someone and they complain about knee pain and they're in a bigger body, I'm like, yeah, it probably hurts to carry around that extra weight. But like, once again, telling someone to lose weight is, asking them to do something that could be practically impossible. So like, why do that, And yeah.
How can we actually be of service to people? And prescribing or recommending weight loss is not being of service. And that's why we do this, right? We train because we want to make people's lives better.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And this is something that myself, I've in the last few years, I've gotten away from, the focus of weight loss, that approach that I was really heavily into for several years. And I've just really gone more the route of just making people, stronger and just helping them get into the gym more and just moving more and less about the weight. Now, if they're, if that's part of their goals, then, I try to help them with that. But, ultimately my goal is just, hey, let's get you moving more. Let's, whether it's coming in and lifting with me or if it's going for a walk or something like that, and just embracing that overall, more active lifestyle.
Sounds like you're trying to just bring them into more balance.
Yeah.
Because you probably experienced this, Ren, where you have someone, Jen and I have had this conversation many times where, they're lifting heavier, like you can tell they're coming in, they're excited, they're enjoying their workouts, and then they, one day they come in and they kind of have a long face and you're like, hey, what's going on today? Like, I weighed myself and I weigh 8 pounds more than I did last month. Like, what the heck, And it's like, why is that casting a shadow over the fact that you're more mobile, you're lifting heavier, you're sleeping better, you felt more confident last time I saw you, but as soon as we step on the scale is like dictates all, right? It's like mirror on the wall, right? And it's like, so it sounds like you're trying to help people kind of lessen that priority of like, my weight is my worth, right? Because so many people feel that way.
Yeah, and I personally try to, I just don't put a lot of emphasis on it. I'm not actively trying to say, hey, let's not look at the scale or let's not do this, but I'm just focused on the movement and just getting, like you said, people in more balance, because that's one of the biggest problems is we're just not moving a lot. And so let's get you moving and see what happens, really.
Yeah. And I think maybe now's the time too to talk about, a little bit about body diversity, which I think maybe you've run into this too. I mean, I have very active clients that are above, the BMI and would be considered, obese, quote unquote, and they're working out. They're active, they walk their dogs, they come to meet me, and so I just think it's important to debunk this idea that fitness has a look, there's like a weight you should be at or a body fat percentage, and once you're at that, then you're fit, because there are people that never work out that have 12% body fat, and then there are people who are super active, really take care of themselves, whatever that looks like for them, and they are well outside, above the quote-unquote normal BMI. And I think that body diversity, which is a real thing, and it just means that people have set point weights that are different, right? There's no like one weight for every person, and that's one of the issues. We don't have to get into BMI too much, but that is one of the issues, and you've probably run into this as well, where it's like, what are we doing with these clients, and are we really helping them?
I think when you look at some of the recommendations for somebody who is like considered quote unquote overweight or obese, if you were to ask somebody with an eating disorder to do the same thing, it would be considered like harmful to them. But you ask somebody that supposedly needs to lose weight to do those things, and it's healthy. So how can that be true? How can both those things be true? Like, it's okay for one person to do these unhealthy behaviors, but for somebody else, it's not.
Yeah, so. If you're overweight and you have symptoms are like, great job, keep it up, right? It's like, what the heck? Like, that can't be right. This is unethical. I've used that word before, but I really, truly believe that it is.
And another thing, too, was, Ren, you talking about, encouraging people to move more, come into the gym, is that difference between outcome-based goals and behavior-based goals. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about that a lot in Swole Sisters, and weight loss and fitting into a certain size clothes is an outcome-based goal. So I've been getting into fishing a lot lately, and I've been thinking about it. And, I go out fishing with the goal of catching a fish, but I cannot control whether or not that happens.
I love that.
I can do all of the things I'm supposed to do. I went and fished 6 hours yesterday. I didn't catch anything.
Right. And is that, your fault, right? You know what I mean? It's because you're a horrible fisherman. It's
well, no, I'm really bad.
But... Okay, Jen, well, you're ruining my...
Dave's good, and he didn't catch anything.
But it's just such a great way of putting it, because when we put all of our eggs into that outcome basket... Yeah, I mean, we're going to feel like failures because so much can happen. And it's interesting the way fitness is now. We work in a gym, we're working out. And a lot of times, I have clients that are like, oh, I need to be working out this much. I'm like, you have 2 young kids, a full-time job, a partner that needs a lot of support, an ailing parent, and a dog, and a freaking bunny. Where are you getting this idea? And this is what I mean, these expectations that are being put, and I'm going to just speak for women, but on women, of how much they're supposed to be working out and how they're supposed to be meal prepping and, eating, quote-unquote, clean. And I am Jen and I don't have children. We are like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. We would never be able to do this. And here are these women who are wearing all these hats. The expectations on women is just absolutely insane to me, and especially when it comes to fitness. And I don't know if that came about because of fitness influencers on social media, where you have these I'm a mom of 5, and
oh my God,
she's got six-pack abs,
their fridge of color coordinated mason jars set up. It's insane, but yeah,
it's porn basically. If that's what it is, you look at this stuff. It is, because you're like, oh my God, that looks amazing.
It's so, and you're just this idea these people must not have problems. Look at their food prep.
If they're working out with their long hair down, that is a red flag.
That's not real.
If they have full makeup on and they're working out with their hair down, red flag.
But as far as behavior-based goals go, why don't you try to walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week? That's a behavior-based goal. Yeah. I mean, the same thing happens if anyone's ever run a marathon. You can do all the training, and you show up on the day of the marathon, and God knows what can happen. Oh, God, I'm never running a marathon.
That happens to people.
Oh, okay.
Or they...
Nipple chafage.
Or they cramp up, halfway
cramping.
through.
I've volunteered at multiple marathons, and I have seen a little bit of all. I don't think I've seen that, but I've seen a little bit of everything else, though. Yeah, I've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, so if you're basing your success on weight loss, that's an outcome-based goal, and you have no control over it. So we just encourage people to look at behavior-based goals, try to drink a certain amount of water.
And that has legs, right? This is where we get into the longevity and the sustainability, which is why I think that the Swole Sisters membership is different. It's not 3 months to this or 6 months to that, which, to be honest, makes it really hard to sell, Ren. I'm not recommending doing what we're doing, but because we really wanted something where you have...
I've experienced the same problem.
Yeah, it's not sexy, right? Jen always says that.
Isn't sexy.
Jen's marketing for our membership is so funny because we always say, listen, we don't have this sexy, shiny object to sell you. What we're selling you is consistency over time, and it's gonna be great, but you just gotta give it time. And you also have, like Jen is saying, you have to, when you're motivating yourself with behavior-based goals, you have to think beyond the shiny object, right? Of ooh, once I can fit into that dress, everyone's going to think I look so great. Or, I think a lot of it does come from wanting to look a certain way, be perceived a certain way. And it's really tough when we live in such a fat phobic society where somebody who, again, like I said, might be exercising all the time. This happened to me with a client at Snap, actually, where she was in a big body, and people would come up to her and be like, good for you.
Ugh, so
By the way,
condescending.
this girl could freaking bench like more than I could bench. She can deadlift, 400 freaking pounds. She's got great form. She's got great cardio. And here people are coming up to her because she's in a big body like, oh, blah, 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 right? It's like, that was a little tangent. I don't know where I was going with that, but it just makes me mad.
Yeah. And you don't want to make Justine mad.
Let's pause a minute for a word from our sponsor. On Track Physical Therapy and Functional Fitness is a reopening gym in Essex Junction, Vermont, over at the Essex Outlets and Cinema, now the Essex Experience. We have physical therapy, small group training, and one-on-one personal training. And so come check us out if you're looking for a different approach to exercise and movement, where you're going to look more at it as a medicine than something just purely for aesthetics. Check us out over in Essex Junction, ontrackhealth.net, and feel free to drop me a line, ren@ontrackhealth.net. Hope to see you there. So what you're saying about all of this, I think a lot of people are going to be able to really relate to. I think a lot of people are experiencing the same thing. These days, I think, I don't know, I'm a little younger, but I'm seeing that. No, I'm just saying, I think I'm a little younger than you. Not a lot.
I feel attacked.
Oh my God.
The door
And just
behind her.
as a side note, Ren looked at me, not Justine.
I wasn't sure. I know you better than Justine. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Moving on. We'll just.
A lot more than brunettes. Wow.
Oh my God. Okay.
I
Okay,
blushed when I
ladies.
said nipple chafage.
It doesn't take much to make me blush. Where was I going with this?
Sorry.
So a lot of people can really relate to this, though, to these things. And as I have gotten older, I have just come to realize that, hey, everything that I'm thinking and feeling, I'm sure many other people are thinking and feeling. So what you've experienced both yourselves, but then also with the clients that you have. And I've had quite a few clients that have come in, and I train mostly ladies. I train both men and women, but it seems like classes and one-on-one training tend to be dominated by women for the most part, at least from what I've seen. And time again, I see women come in and they are borderline in tears, sometimes in tears, saying, I've spent the last 20 years, I've not taken care of myself. It's been all about my family or my career in my family or my pet's career, family, whatever the case is. And they just feel horrible. And I think a big part of that is that anxiety around the number on the scale, and then and just not feeling like they're just not doing enough. But then you take a step back and you really look at it, and they're doing so much. And it's like, how are you doing that? And how are you not? How are you not fetal and just, rocking back and forth or something? So I think
like women are terrible at setting boundaries.
Well, this gets into, you probably are going for a question, but
go ahead.
One of the really cool ways that we have designed the Swole Sisters membership is by using Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies. Mm-hmm. And you'll be...
I have not, no.
Okay. Oh, Ren, you gotta...
Please elaborate.
You'll love this. Well, Jen's really more of an expert than I am, but the number one tendency, and tendency being defined as really the way that we react to expectations, either our own expectations or the expectations other people put on us. So the number one tendency is an obliger, called an obliger. So I'll let Jen kind of get more into what that means.
Yeah, so an obliger responds pretty much solely to outer expectations. So they're going to be the one that's always, and that's like 51% of the population. Yeah. So they're going to be the ones that are always doing something to be helpful. And they're also the ones, like your clients, that only work out when they're with you. Mm-hmm. Like they can't do it unless they have someone there telling them to do it. But
yeah, the accountability aspect is huge for a lot of people.
Yeah, it keeps us in business though.
Yeah, right.
But so obligers are those kinds of, so like, a lot of people that probably come to you for personal training are obligers, and so they're probably like that in all of their lives, so they just take on too much stuff.
Yeah, they overcommit themselves, and they also feel like they don't want to let other people down, but they